Okay, let's see. Okay, great. Great, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Of course, I am Dr. Marrian, Sister Efua. I am working on getting in my guest, um, Dr. Pamela Sams, and I did it again. I keep calling her doctor. I just think she should have this category because I think she's going to end up being a doctor in some kind of way. So I'm going to see what allows us to make this happen. So I'm just working on a new program. I'm on my own right now. And there you go. And she's going to be coming live. Hey, Dr. Pam.
That's what you're calling me these days.
That's what I'm going to call you for the rest of this time. Maybe that's
Okay.
a sign. I think that's a sign that I think that's a sign. Like that, I always say when something comes at you more than one time, it's going to be the time. So we're here
It's
live
gonna be
on the
fun.
Thursday Night Thought here on Facebook, and this is a great time to announce that you're going to be called Doctor. I think that
Yeah.
when you learn about your skills, we're gonna say, yeah, she a doctor. She's a wealth doctor.
Uh-huh.
Hey, and that's your new
Yeah,
that's your
I
new
like
name.
that. I like the wealth doctor.
Yeah, you're the wealth doctor. So we're going to be using that to kind of talk to you a little bit about that. And I just want to be able to, first and foremost, I want to thank you. As I told you before, I tell you this all the time. You are one of my favorite people to talk to because I think you're just such a genuine person. And additionally, you talk money talk. Everybody can't talk a money
Hmm.
talk. So I greatly appreciate being able to have that conversation with you and share. And I'm so excited. I'm going to drop the bomb. Pamela
Hmm.
Sams of Jackson Sam's Wealth will be one of my special guest speakers at the Exponential Existence Live Summit that's happening March 20th and 21st here in Arizona. So you will get a full-fledged account. You're going to get a sample in here tonight on the Thursday Thought here on Exponential Existence Radio, live here on social media. We are here every Thursday. So welcome, Pam.
Thank you. Thank you. And you finally got me to come out to Phoenix.
I know. How long did it take? Like, there was a point where I was like, all my friends gonna make me keep coming where they live. Like, they can't come where I live.
Exactly.
I got the better weather. I think we got. I
You
think I
do.
might have
You
a big.
do.
You might have a bigger house than me. But I'm just saying, we want to keep this thing going because this is what it's all about. It's about sharing and giving value and reminding people. My thing, of course, here at Exponential Existence is always reminding people that you have an assignment and that you have an original assignment far beyond your circumstances and your experiences. It is still an assignment that you are needing to complete, which is why you keep having these desires. Oh, I think I lost her. Let's see what happened, friend. Where did you go? So I just want to make sure everyone knows here tonight that we're going to be talking with Dr. Pamela Sams. I'm putting that into existence because she does have so much to offer. And she is an expert and she is on her game. There is never an opportunity where you can't invite and see her doing what she has to get done. So I'm inviting everyone to come on in and join us. We're gonna get Pam back in this room and we're going to be talking. So again, she's going to be one of my special guests. This next couple of weeks, you're going to be seeing a series of the people leading up to the event every Thursday. I'm going to feature one of our speakers, and you're going to have a great opportunity to learn and get a little bit more of what's being asked of you. So I invite you to tag 4 more people and get them in the space so that you can learn all about the beautiful experience that's going to happen when you come to Exponential Existence Live. This is our number 8 year. I believe it is. It's 2020, 2012. Yep. So this is year number 8. That means we're established. We've been honored. We've been grounded. We've been experiencing. So of course, we want to share that with you. We want to make sure that you understand that your heart's desires, your wisdoms, your courage is very much a part of who we are here at Exponential Existence. And we're just here to serve. We're here to serve you to remind you of one of your original assignment. 2, to allow you to understand that your life is exponential and that you are the power base of your life. And by teaching you through our 6 point process here at Exponential Existence, we are going to be able to help you take a hearty, comfortable seat in life. Wow. Yeah, I know. So if you're coming in right now, do me a favor and tell me what city and state you're listening in from. Let me know if you are what you feeling today. That's what I want to know. What are you feeling today? What are you feeling today? feeling today that's going to make your day, that made your day so much better. I'll start with me. One of the things I did today is I actually went and I just took a whole entire day. Well, first, my morning started off with me meeting with a beautiful friend of mine, Carlise, this morning. She was getting some work done. She was out here in my neighborhood. She was like, "Girl, I'm in your neighborhood. Come on." And so we met, and all we had time to do was just get together and talk for just a few minutes. And believe it or not, when you have quality relationships, which is one of the things we strive to share with people how to have reciprocating, rewarding relationships. I don't know about you, but how many of you would like to have a rewarding, reciprocal relationship, right? It's unconditional love. That's what we offer. And so after my day started with that, and then the next thing I knew, I spent the day with my daughter, and we were taking care of business and preparing for the Exponential Existence Live. We were getting all the little parts. We met with the team that's going to be putting together and managing all the sound and the lights and the displays and all the little special things we have going on for the event. So if you have not registered, on the bottom of the screen, it is scrolling where you should go, and that's at bit.ly/exponential existence live, exponential EX2 live, and get yourself in the room. I'm just waiting on Pam to come back and join us. The other thing I want to invite you to do, besides just tell me what city and state you're in, I'm inviting you to connect with 5 more people and bring them into this conversation. Pam is going to be talking about some platinum level insight and influence for you to begin your legacy of wealth. It's never too late for you to begin your legacy of wealth because you're already wealthy, you're already full of abundance, you're already ready to expand your life into the higher parts of who you are. So all you have to do is just surrender and allow yourself to do it. So if you have not already, go get you some water because these are red hot, fire hot, dropping platinum nuggets. It's going to be dropped on tonight. And go ahead and get your favorite pen and pencil, your journal, whatever you do to write down those things are important. Because this conversation tonight is one that is all about how do you manage and create the legacy. And people think that when they see those of us who are progressing financially, progressing in business, one of the things I try to dispel a lot of times when people deal with me is I want them to know, like, it's not always, ching. Some days it's nothing, right? It's crickets. So that's why you want to learn how to plan and allocate your money so that you can be able to benefit from it, even when your abundance is taking a rest. That's what I said. When your abundance is taking a rest, you want to be able to have already expected that, anticipated when it's going to take a rest and when you need to take in the harvest or the surplus from your previous moments. And make sure that you're going to be doing that. Again, that event is March 20th through the 21st in Phoenix, Arizona at the Wyndham Garden. So if you want to come and join us, it's going to be a great, lively event. I'm just excited. Like I said, today we spent time planning it and meeting with the team, the production team, and I'm excited. I'm beyond excited. I was sitting back like a little kid, like, what? Y'all gonna do what? Like, what? It's gonna look like what? Yes. Right. So it was really, really happy, and I'm really, really happy and excited to be a part of this. Um, and so we're gonna keep going. So go ahead and tag some more people, bring them into the space. Let's get this party started. We're waiting on Pam to come in. Hey, Keyshawn, thanks for joining me on tonight. I'm excited that everybody is here. I know people are shocked, but I'm back. The Thursday night thought is back. The motivation with Marrian is back. We're gonna be participating and doing some things that are gonna just take us to the next level. Yes. So as we waiting for Pam, again, I'm going to read her bio really, bring her bio in right away. Hey, Keon, thanks for joining us. I'm excited. Go ahead and like and share. We're here. Exponential Existence is a personal development and business coaching transformational program. We are here to serve you. And how this business came to be is that I simply was going through a life transition, a very serious life transition. Um, and at that time, I was only thing I kept hearing was there's more. Every time I wanted to get sad about it and feel deflated, like there was no way of getting out, I kept hearing the word there's more. I kept hearing about it. And then one day I was talking and I heard it just as plain as day. It said, there's more. and you need to expand like an exponent. And when I heard that, I said, an exponent. I said, that's math. What are you talking about? And I listened deeper. And I went back and the first thing I did, I typed in exponents on the computer. And when it popped up, it showed a little picture of a number two. And then it showed a number, a variable in the PowerPoint. And it said that number two was the base, and that number, that letter, that variable that was in the power, is called the power position. And whatever number is in that power position is what allows that number to expand. And you have to multiply, not add. You had to multiply, not divide and not subtract, but you had to multiply and expand it out to get the core number and the core meaning. And from that day forward, I began studying that, and I began to hear the rest of that upload from within to tell me that it's already inside of you, that you hold the power position in your life. And it's your choice to make the decision that you're going to activate it right now, right here, right now, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you wait for somebody to give you permission. And that's why I have my guest here tonight, Pamela Sams of Jackson Sams. She is going to talk about how you prepare yourself to reap that harvest, to manage that surplus, to plan and allocate for your future. Hey, Pam, welcome back, life.
Hey, I know I dropped off for a minute, but I'm here. I was just listening in. I really enjoyed that because it is a power position. You know, when you're dealing with multiplying your money, your finances, your life, that's what you really have to focus in on. So I like that. I like the exponential
Yeah,
part of that.
yeah, I know, right? Because I'm telling you, look, this is my sister girl. So look, I'm gonna read your bio, and I want to do that
Mhm.
honorably because I love your bio. I know this is the short version. I get it, but I
Mhm.
think it's important when people create bios that we honor them. So her bio is one that talks about what her purpose is. And I love the wording that she shared in here because she uses some of my wording. And we didn't even practice this. But that just tells you how when people are aligned and committed, like the universe only has one language, and that is for you to be successful and for you to move forward. The universe is not telling you to stop. Um, yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. Come to Exponential Existence Live, March 20th and 21st, and I'll break down and I'll show you how um how that's going to be. All right. So let me get her bio back on my screen. I've been talking so much. I moved it. Okay, here it is. So Pamela A. Sams. For 18 years, Pamela has been serving women and partnering with them to improve their personal and financial wealth through solid financial life planning. She is known as the financial navigator. Uh-oh. Pamela helps women navigate through rough waters toward financial independence so they can be, do, and have their heart's desires. Pamela is a strong voice in the area of personal finance for women. Her knowledge in this area has made her a sought after speaker and also has can be found quoted in numerous financial leadership magazines and publications. So let me just tell you, that's why I said her name should be Dr. Pam. Because when you're being quoted, when you're being sought after, that means you got something to offer and you have a level of wisdom and a level of experience that people are willing to tap into. So welcome with me, everybody. Just say a good hello, high five, how you doing right now to our guest, Pamela Sams. Thanks so much, Pam. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Marian, and I think you sought me out for the last 8 years on your exponential conference. So
Yes, yes.
you finally got me to Phoenix. So I appreciate the invite, and I'm really excited as well to be able to meet with your tribe and to I guess impart wisdom and whatever I have to share there. But I'm really excited about the opportunity.
Yeah. As I said, the part that I love most is that the part in your bio that you talk about, to help women navigate to be able to have, be, and do their heart's desire. And I think so many times we put that on the back burner, especially as women, men
Hmm.
too, but especially as women, we are so busy serving and giving and gifting people that we forget about ourselves. And so that's the thing I love about your bio. That line right there lets me know we are alignedly synced for that purpose.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, financial planning,
Hmm.
financial wealth development is not an easy thing for anyone, but let alone a woman. And I'm looking at you and I'm going, how did you get into this?
Yeah, that's a good question. In a previous life, I actually did marketing, but it was a one of those defining moments in your life that you really have to, see where your gifts lie. And it really came back in 2001 when I was when my father passed away, and really helping my mother transition into being um, a single woman, being a widow. On her own, really trying to figure out her own finances. Growing up in an older generation where the household finances were taken care of mainly by my father. My mother was a back of the envelope person. She kind of wrote out the bills, and they sat down and they wrote them out together, but she really had a struggle trying to figure out all of that on her own afterwards. So my siblings and I really just kind of, helped her, nurtured her, really trying to transition to that. And out of that, it really just kind of, I guess, stirred something up in me, and figuring out, I'm sure there are other women out here probably struggling and going through the same situation. And I didn't want any other women to have to go through that, just really seeing what my mom went through. So after that, really just started and committed myself to studying finances, financial planning, and just hung my shingle out and said, "Hey, let's help some other women in that area." So most of my women that I help are single by choice, and divorced and widowed, really looking for somebody to kind of help guide them, hold their hands, not really, telling them what to do, but really being there as that guide for them, and that trusted advisor to help them move forward into financial independence.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And I'm just gonna again, I'm gonna put you on a little spot because
Hmm.
you are committed to that, and you are finally being rewarded with some opportunities because of your level of commitment and expertise that you have grown to. You have a little bit of an accomplishment, a recognition that came about recently. Can you
Hmm.
talk about that?
Just a little bit. It's still in the works. I have to kind of dot the I's across the T's, but been invited to the $1 Million Roundtable, which is really a premier association for financial professionals in our
Mhm.
industry. You don't qualify for it every year. You have to be invited into that. So that was something that really was special, because throughout these 18 years, you have to kind of put in the grind and put in the work and keep doing what you're doing, and then eventually some people will recognize you. So that's something new that has happened to me this year, and I'm pretty excited about that.
And I'm excited and celebrating with you. The dots, the T's, and the I's, all that's going to happen. But I think
Yes.
you blow the thing of that because you do bring so much value. I mean, you've even supported me and gave me some
Hmm.
clarity over the years, which is why I wanted to get you here to talk to folks. And I'm working on getting her to Paris. She don't, we working on Paris. We working on Paris, y'all.
Yes.
Because because what I want to do is I really want people to understand that money is a tool. Money is a
Hmm.
servant. Money is here for you. It's not to be afraid of. And I'm gonna quote my favorite thing from Reverend Ike. He said, when you get money, you can't be balling it up and pushing it down and trying to hide it. And he said you want to treat it like you do when you get somebody that's real fine, dressed
Hmm.
nice, smell good. You want to show it off. You want to have them on your arm. You want to give them some nice things. You want to give them compliments. You want to tell them how much you enjoy them being with you. And then that
Hmm.
makes them happy and they do things for you. So that's how I
Exactly.
love when you talk about that story. I mean, I'm not as good as Reverend Ike in telling a story, but the bottom line is that you have to begin to have a relationship with money.
Hmm.
And it sounds like you learned early on, during a time of challenge in your family, that
Hmm.
money is an important thing for women to understand. So tell us a little bit about how that actually looks when you're contributing into the lives of women that are single by choice or by divorce or widows. How do you contribute to them to understand how to create this wealth legacy?
Yeah, it really all starts with where you are in life. You know, a lot of times we, as women, have been challenged with this whole money game because we're taught at an early age that you know we're not good with numbers. You know, leave the numbers and all of that money thing to the guys, and so we grow up believing that, and so a lot of us women stay away from it or afraid of it. So where I start is really trying to understand where people are with their money mindset. Our money habits are really developed when I read in a study at age 6. So basically, you're running your finances as a 6-year old. That's what you're doing. So you have to understand that's where it's coming from, and some of these old money tracks that you have running in your life. So I really start with getting that money story from people initially to understand where they're coming from, and then really working with them to devise a game plan or strategy to get them to financial independence. So it's all about really understanding where you are. And then what that vision is for your future, and then let's devise a map or a roadmap in order to get there.
Yeah, that's really good. And I like when you talk about the story. So for those persons who may not be aware of what you mean by your money story, can you talk about that? I know when I was an author contributor to the book, The Psychological Effects of Money on Black Women, we all
Hmm.
told our story, and we all have stories as it relates to money. It doesn't matter if you're used to it, you're not used to it, it comes out. So can you explain that to us a little bit more?
Yeah, the money story really is revolves around how you. I mean, back to your quote with Reverend Ike. How are we treating money? Are we attracting it? Or are we repelling it? Just based on our thoughts on. Did I get an allowance? Am I a spendthrift? You know, when I get it, I have certain people in my family. You know, you get a hot dollar, and it's hot. It's out of your hands right away, in terms of spending, and a lot of people are. So you do have to understand your relationship and your story with money before you can really be successful with it. Because if you're repelling it and it's not staying around long, or you mistreating it, like you said, it is a tool and it is a service. So you do have to understand how you're talking to it. How is it presenting itself in your life? How are you feeling it in your body? Actually, do you have angst? Do you have that if it's you're anxious about your money, you may not want to hold on to it long enough because you don't like that feeling. So you have to understand where you are and what that story is showing up in your life in order to really rectify it, correct it, and then move forward with a solid strategy or game plan around how do I move forward, knowing what your story is. But you have to know that story first.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right about that, about knowing that story. That's why I said you done it so well, and that's one of the things I start with. We all have stories, and stories can come up at the wrong time, right, and prevent the
Hmm.
right move occurring
Correct.
at that moment. And you can always go back and fix it, but it's just a matter of just being aware, having that awareness of that money. Um, I like how you talked about being able to know right then and there in that moment what you want to have, that visioning process, right?
Hmm.
So I know
Correct.
that you're going to be a guest at the Exponential Existence Live here in Phoenix in March. I know that you're going to be one of our main stage speakers, and you're also going to host a private workshop for us, for those of us that are VIP at the event.
Hmm.
So if you want to be VIP, you want to come, and you want to, it's scrolling across the bottom. You want to go to bit.ly /EX2live, and you want to book your VIP ticket. We have a special going on right now called Return. So if you put in return because you're watching this tonight, you'll be able to even get that VIP ticket at a little gifted process thanks to Jackson Sam's Wealth. So just get ready and make sure you go over to jacksonsams.com and figure out how you can be a part. Go and see all the valuable tools she has on her website. She gets a lot of value on her social media posts. She gets a lot of value in her social media posts. So get yourself in the room, get yourself on this call, tag 5 more people. I know we all have someone we can talk about money. And this conversation might be like, oh, humdrum, I don't have the money. Why am I listening to these people talk about money? They got money, but I just want to, as I started out earlier in the night, I talked about that you want to start planning and allocating money so that when it's good, and you can set some things in place that you can keep you a little afloat, more afloat the next time that it's not as big of a swell or as big as a harvest. That's what it's about, planning and allocating. You want to add something to that, Pam?
Yeah, I
You
mean
might.
that's exactly right. Dr. Marion is really, from that old biblical story, with in times of a harvest, you harvest and you reap and you put it away. In times of famine, then you know where you can go and get that. But if you're always at a place of scarcity and a mindset of scarcity, or you end up spending during those time periods where you should be actually harvesting some of that, that's where you run into trouble and that's where you
Mhm.
have some issues when it comes to money. So you do have to plan accordingly when you have those times of plenty versus the times of lean years.
Yeah. So Pam, my question for you is right now. So we're coming up on this close, and we know we're going to have the summit, and you do this every day. What are three things that a person? I mean, what would you say to a person? Let's go back. What would you say to a person who right now is looking at their current physical conditions and circumstances? What would you say to them? They're on the fence. I think I
Hmm.
want to talk to her. What could you say to them to help them understand why it's important to get off the fence and get into action?
Yeah, because if it's the saying, if you want something different, you got to have to do something different. You have to put that vision out there in order to get to your ultimate goal. But if you keep doing the same stuff, that's not going to help. So really encouraging
Mhm.
people to get off the fence and get help when you need help. There's a variety of different advisors out there that yeah, you know can help people with limited resources or free consultations, whatever. Really just give you some guidance because it costs money. I think we had talked about this before. It costs money to be broke. Making poor decisions, overspending on interest rates on certain loans. In terms of being able to fix it, you need to know what the problem is and be willing to fix it. And coming off the fence will really help that. Get some guidance, get some instruction to help you make the smart choices to ultimately save you money over the long run. That's basically where you need to focus in on is if I want to do something, if I want to be here, I got to do something different. What kind of things do I need to put in place? Who do I need to listen to? What kind of help do I need to recruit in order to get there?
Wow. I'm gonna ask you another follow-up question with that. That last piece, you said, who do I listen to and what do I need to do?
Hmm.
If you could give us um three things, because it doesn't cost anything to listen, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
who could I listen to? Who could people that are striving to improve themselves financially and create a system of building wealth, not just for the moment, but for the long haul and leave a legacy of that? What are three things that you could offer to us that could share with us the insight on that?
Yeah, it's really, where do you start? Everything is incremental changes. Just from taking water to boiling, it just takes the 1 degree in order to do that. Same thing with your finances. Where are you spending money? Are there ways that I can, free up cash flow or savings? There's always leakage in people's budgets. I mean, I've been doing this for almost 20 years, and I always see that's the first case. Where I start to look is for leakage. So if you're overspending on certain things, if you're eating out, you're dining out, you're buying extra stuff, you're doing all of these things, really find out if there's some resources that you can free up. Once you've started to do that, then that's kind of the what I call found money that you can use for other resources. Put away for extra savings, pay down debt, put money into investments, whatever the case may be, in order to get you to your goals. But you have to look at things first. So it's really, taking, not the ostrich, your head in the sand type approach. Really look at your finances. I know it's ugly sometimes. A lot of times people go, I really don't want to look at that, or I don't open my statements because I'm scared of what I'm going to see. it really you needs to own up to it and take a look at it. Like I said, in order to get to a different situation, you got to do some things differently. So that's really, the first tip is really to look at is there leakage in your budget, and then putting together a financial plan, and then ultimately really monitoring that as you go along. So it's really, how do I do better? Put a plan in place, and then how do I monitor that and continue the process? It's a rinse and repeat. That's pretty much what you need to focus on.
Wow. That was good. That was good. Know your money, right? You
Hmm.
can't like something, you can't like it and say you enjoy it, but you never want to look at it and have a conversation with it. I love that. I love that idea. So Pam, I have one final thing for you tonight.
Hmm.
I want to know if you could share with us just a little bit um, about some of the things that you would like to share with us at the Exponential Existence. I know you are one of our main stage speakers, and you're also going to be hosting the private VIP. I believe you're doing the lunch, VIP lunch, and
Hmm.
talk to us a little bit about what you would like to share with us during the conference.
Yeah, yeah. What I'll be sharing is really a lot of what I talked about. Just kind of touched on tonight is really money mindset. So a lot of we may do a few exercises. I recently got certified as a behavioral financial advisor. So we'll talk a lot about behavioral advice as it relates to what your values are and what your goals are, and are they in alignment with your behavior. So we'll talk a lot about that, and then really, how do I do better with my money and make those smart money decisions? And how do you put a proper financial plan in place for your future? And then how do you pass on a legacy to your children? Really teaching the next generation on money, because there's so many money myths. Like I said, I've been doing this for almost 20 years, and the stuff that you hear that people learn, I have to kind of unlearn or unteach people the proper way to do things, because there's so many things that people are taught. So talking a lot about some of those money myths that are out there, and then putting a proper plan into place, and then how do you transfer that to the next generation through either gifting or legacy planning or estate planning, and then also how do you teach your children properly with money tips, and then taking that on to the next generation.
Yeah. And I'm so glad because that was you know what? I think you're in my head
I
because
think so.
I promise you that was my next question was to ask you about the children, right? I get this question, well,
Hmm.
how do I teach my children? And I always end my events by telling people, like, if you have teenagers, if you have preteens, bring them into the conversation of money. And you said it
Hmm.
absolutely. That was the question. What do you tell the children? How do I communicate? Now, Pam, that doesn't mean that we're going to tell them maybe, hey, I make 100,000 a year, I make $20,000 a year.
Exactly.
No, we're not going to do
Hmm.
that. But what we are going to do is talk about how money can be a utilizing tool, right? It can be leveraged for you to have the things you want.
Hmm.
You want to prioritize how you spend the money, and you want to have conversations that they understand the power of value.
Yes,
That's
the value of money, and then what it's used for. Like I said, most people to go from their parents' home to probably quasi on their own with the college, and then out, and never really be taught the proper way to handle money. And so that's the ultimate travesty, is that we don't teach our children when we have them in the household. If you don't know how to handle your own money, perhaps you get books, or do some research on your own, but it has to be taught in the household if nobody else is going to teach you. You don't want to throw your children out there into the world, and they have to kind of fend for themselves and learn it on their own, because there's going to be a lot of mistakes, and those mistakes are costly, especially being young. I've recently bought my oldest son into the practice where I'm teaching him. He's working as my assistant, but he's learning everything that I had to learn, a little bit earlier. He's learning it at 21. So really moving forward, having that knowledge of how money works, how does financial planning work, how do certain investments work, and so he can teach his children later down the road, and continue to have that conversation with children. So it's really, the earlier you can teach your children, the better. If you give them allowance, tell them, this is what you are given as an allowance. You may spend some, you may save some, you may give some to charity or, church or whatever the case may be. But then understanding the value of what it does as a tool and as a servant, that's where you really need to focus in on with your children.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to emphasize, don't make it here, go read this book. You
Hmm.
want to make it a family effort. If we are going to create a legacy, if we're going to break, I always say, it's not a generational curse that, oh, my family's always been poor. We never really had nothing, we're not
Yeah.
educated. There's a lot of people that we have evidence of that could not read and write, had very minimal education, but they allowed themselves to grow and learn. And that's why we're inviting you out again to the Exponential Existence Summit. We want you to learn how to take a seat in life. And that means by understanding your mindset, understanding your emotional, your social, your physical, your spiritual, and your financial life in such a way that it's in a harmonic existence. And you want to have a generation that comes behind you that understands that so they can rest a little bit and benefit from all the harvesting and planting that you've done prior so that we can have the life that you deserve. Truly, the life that is yours and yours alone, regardless of where you are right now. It is still waiting for you to get together, say yes, and make it happen. Oh, Pam, this was a good conversation. I love what
Thank
you did about the children. I do. I can't get over that. That's like my thing now. And I love that you're bringing your children. My children, when they see this broadcast, they can say, oh, we know we're going to get a phone call.
Yeah, get them kids working and learn
I
some
do have
stuff.
my, my son, I just, let's just say they already know they do work and support, they work when they want to work. Right. And I hire other people
Mhm.
and I
Yeah,
say,
exactly.
when I can hire you. And they were like, ugh. But now I'm going to remind them over and over again, money has to be a family conversation. It's not a bad
Oh
word,
yeah.
taboo. Let's have the conversations. Join us both in March 20th and 21st for the Exponential Existence Summit. You can go to bit.ly/exponential2 EX2 live at and they'll get you registered. Use the code return and join us, and we will talk to you again soon. This has been the Thursday Night Thought Session. I am Dr. Marrian, sister Efua. We have been joined by the fabulous and very wise and pronounced, why I'm calling her financial
Yes.
navigator, right? And create, look, Dr. Pamela
Yeah.
say, Dr. Pamela Sales, I know it's coming, girl, it's coming. But I just really appreciate you joining me tonight, and I can't wait to see you in March. I know we're gonna have a great time with people that are
Oh
in the
yeah.
room, and it's gonna be fun. So if you are looking for Dr. Pam, give us your insight, give us your all your social media.
Oh, yes. You can find me on Facebook under Jackson Sam's Wealth. You can also find me on Instagram on the same handle at Jackson Sam's Wealth, and then also on Twitter at Jackson Sam's WLS for Jackson Sam's Wealth Strategy. And of course, you can always go to my website at www.jacksonsams.com, where you can find loads of resources, workshops, vignettes, even basically a resource where you can type in certain terms and terminologies that you may not be familiar with. You can find all of that on my website, and also it's an area where you can put your contact information if you want to keep up with my monthly newsletter, where I send out a monthly newsletter where I share tips and tricks and strategies for how to become financially independent.
Absolutely, and that's the goal. Independence. Time freedom comes with independence, right?
Hmm.
Time freedom,
Yep.
independence. So thank you again for joining us here for the Thursday Night Thought Session. Again, I am Dr. Marian Sister Efua, your holistic prosperity lifestyle alchemist of inner engineering. You have been here tonight. We're here every Thursday night here on Exponential Existence Live. Find us, locate us, become part of our family. When you're family, you get the family secrets and recipes. So get yourself in the room and join us here every week for the Thursday Thought. Thanks again and have a good night. All right, Pam,
Great. Good
have a
night.
good night.